Alright, True Business Review back. Just so you guys know, this is Mike. Dan is the other host of this channel, and we're both collabing and making separate videos, so don't get confused. Today, I'm going to be predicting the NFC South. So obviously we have the Falcons, Panthers, Saints, and Buccaneers. Alright, I'm going to rank these teams from 4th to 1st, and obviously 1st will win the division. So let's get right into things. The team that's going to be number 4 is the Carolina Panthers. Unfortunately, let's begin with the Carolina Panthers. Bridgewater is in, Cam Newton is out, but it might not matter because the team around this quarterback just isn't very good. The Panthers appear to be the worst team in this division. They're coming off a 5-win season where they got outscored by 130 points. Only the Dolphins finished below them. They got rid of a lot of key players in free agency. Eric Reed, Trey Turner, and obviously Luke Kuechly had a surprise retirement, which will dramatically hurt this defense. Luke Kuechly, it cannot be understated how good Luke Kuechly was for this defense, and now that he's gone, GG. Obviously, Bridgewater was a nice signing. He's a 27-year-old former first-round pick who has the potential to morph into a long-term solution at quarterback for a cheap cost. So at the very least, he'll be a bridge to a good quarterback, but at the cheap cost that he's being paid at, he might be able to morph into like a long-term solution, but who knows. While he's demonstrated the ability at times to be a good quarterback in the right situation, he hasn't been asked in his career to elevate a terrible team, like a really bad team like the Panthers, to a playoff team because he played for the Saints, and obviously the Saints had a lot of talent around him, so he might struggle to do this in Carolina. And no one should blame him if that happens because this team needs to improve a lot. Obviously, in the draft, the Panthers decided to pass on Isaiah Simmons when he was still on the board, and they went offensive tackle. Obviously, in such an offensive tackle-heavy draft, I know that they needed that position, and they went into the draft looking for that. But if a good player like Isaiah Simmons, who can play anywhere on the defense, falls that far down in the draft, you got to pick him. You can't pass on him. So the Carolina Panthers are number 4. The only positive I see is Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey's a stud. Obviously, he was the only reason I hesitated to put this team at number 4 because McCaffrey is one of the top 3 running backs in the league. Coming in at number 3 is the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are hoping the second half of the 2019 season is proof of how they are going to play in 2020. After starting 1-7, the Falcons obviously wanted to protect their coach, and they ripped off 6 wins in the second half of the season, buying Dan Quinn one more chance in Atlanta. Unfortunately, the division around them has only gotten stronger, and the Falcons haven't made enough upgrades. They lost Austin Hooper, who got 700 yards and 4 touchdowns, but they did manage to get Hayden Hurst to replace him. The Falcons also lost pass rusher Vic Beasley, and they were going after Cowboys defensive end Robert Quinn in free agency, but he decided to sign with the Bears instead, which will only hurt the Falcons. They also got rid of cornerback Desmond Trufant and running back Devontae Freeman. Both were good players. Obviously, Devontae Freeman was a little washed, but then you look at their team and you're like, oh, they got rid of Devontae Freeman, but they brought in Todd Gurley? Doesn't make sense. They're both older players, and Todd Gurley has arthritis in his knee. What? The Falcons sit just above the Panthers, though, because they still have Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. Honestly, I look at this offense in previous years, and I wonder why they weren't as good as they were the year where they lost the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Austin. When they had Austin Hooper, they were a good offense. I don't know why they weren't winning games, which it's always a surprise to me. I always expect them to do better than they play. So the Falcons should still be competitive, though, because Ryan and Jones pretty much gives them a shot in most games. If the Buccaneers hadn't added Tom Brady, they might have had a chance to be the second-best team in this division. But the Buccaneers did add Tom Brady. And that's why, coming in at number 2, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady's arrival makes the Buccaneers the best team poised to chase down the Saints in the NFC South, a division that's belonged to New Orleans for 3 straight seasons. The Buccaneers haven't had this crown since 2007 when John Gruden was their coach. Jeff Garcia was their quarterback, and Brady was leading the Patriots to a 16-0 record. But Brady gives them a chance. Let's not forget, Rob Gronkowski comes out of retirement. Who knows what shape he's in. Him and Brady obviously have a connection from New England, and he's probably going to elevate Brady's game. It might have been a mistake for Brady to leave New England, but at least he picked a great alternative. Bruce Arians isn't Bill Belichick, but he's one of the league's better coaches with a specialization in quarterbacks and offenses. Brady is going from having Julian Edelman and a bunch of other nobodies to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, and Cameron Brate. That's a pretty stacked receiving room. Mike Evans is going to be like, wait, this pass is hitting me in the hands. He's used to having Jameis Winston just chuck balls his direction, and now he's going to have one of the league's best passers. But, I mean, who knows? Tom Brady's getting old. Every year people say he's going to be washed up. Maybe this is the year, maybe not, but he definitely has the pieces around him to help. The only concerns offensively are the offensive line, which ranked 22nd in pass protection and 17th in pass block win rate, according to ESPN. The Patriots ranked 18th in pass block last year, and Brady still managed to play like an average quarterback on a team lacking weapons. So the Buccaneers' offensive line might not be great, but at least Brady won't lack the firepower around him to be good. Arians knows what he's doing. He knows he's working with a soon-to-be 43-year-old quarterback. He's likely to make the necessary moves to his offense. And obviously, in the draft, he went after some offensive linemen, which was a good move. All right, that comes to the number one New Orleans Saints. The Saints are always a good team. By re-signing Breeze, the Saints remain the division's best team. Brady makes the Buccaneers substantially better than they were, but there's still a 6-win gap between the 7-9 Buccaneers and the 13-3 Saints. This might be too big of a gap for Brady to, overcome. The Saints still have the best quarterback in the division. Brady is better historically, but Breeze is better right now. Michael Thomas is still the best receiver in the division. Obviously, Mike Evans, he'll probably step his game up because he has a better quarterback now, way better quarterback. But Michael Thomas, the production he has is insane. Also, Jared Cook is also a really good tight end. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Gronk because nobody knows what to expect from Gronkowski, but at least Jared Cook is consistent. And the offensive line is also the 11th ranked. In addition, they stole the Eagles safety. What the heck? They took Malcolm Jenkins from us. He's not washed up. I know he's a veteran. He's going to add some help to this defense. Arians is a great coach, but the Saints have Sean Payton, which kind of offsets that. Both great coaches. There's no reason to think that the Saints are suddenly second best just because the Buccaneers are suddenly stacking up. They're not going to be second best. The Saints have won the division the past 3 years for a reason. They have pieces all around the team. They've won 13 games in each of the past 2 seasons, and they haven't lost any serious pieces. In the draft, they decided to use their first-round pick on Cesar Ruiz, which obviously, bolstered the offensive line, not a bad idea. But they picked a really good center, and they already have a center on their team. So it's going to be interesting to see how they move Cesar Ruiz around the offensive line. Maybe they'll put him on the right side, but hopefully he doesn't lose his talent. So there it is. There's the rankings. We got 4th, Panthers, 3rd, Falcons, 2nd, Patriots. Oh, almost said Patriots because they're stealing their players. 2nd, Buccaneers, and 1st, the New Orleans Saints, who are going to win the division. Appreciate any support you guys want to show. Drop a comment of your team or division to be featured in the next video. Please subscribe.